Hello. How is everybody? Welcome in, Mac, Baron, Willow. My dashboard chat is showing her as chatting, but from like 20 minutes ago. Oh, she's still here. You can just kind of like hang out in an empty stream until I get here. So fun. So fun. Gosh, what do we work on? The week before, right before Thanksgiving. That's a little frightening of a move time. I hate moving. I hate moving so much. Oh, and it's gonna be worse. I'm just gonna die in this house. There's so much stuff. We keep adding things to the house. So much junk. It's ridiculous. I'm coming to terms with the fact that I'm, though not exactly a minimalist, I'm definitely more minimalist than our family allows for. But still, yeah, that's exciting. Okay. We can work on the railings, which is kind of a minor thing. We also need to work on new enemies. That's more of a major thing. I did find, yes, you can export CSGs into Blender. It's not that bad. I tried to export this whole scene into Blender, and that was too much for Godot to handle. There's just too much going on. Welcome in, Leari. I want to part with so many things. Every little Toadette likes to do crafts, and so she needs a paper cut into a circle, and so she'll cut herself a big old circle. And then with the remaining rounded corners, I'm like, okay, I'll throw that away. And she's like, no. I might need that. You're never going to use that. You are never going to use these 4 scraps of paper. It's just not happening. But whatever. It's fine. Yeah, we got Leari here tonight. Let's go! Makes me want to do a crossword. Okay, so I gotta figure out which thing we're gonna do. We can work on making twiggy railings in Blender. So we can do some Blender work, or we can work on doing some art for making some new enemies. Look at all those posies. Posey got herself a bath tonight. It's a mess. Thanks, one vote art. Halloween was fine. Last year was rough because it was raining, and it was bad. It was raining a lot, but we still had to go trick or treating, of course, and so that was just a blast. Everyone had a great time getting wet. But this year, weather was fine. It was just cold, but otherwise fine. So we all gathered up with the various extended family people and went on a big trick-or-treat. I haven't even really checked her entire haul yet. Just because we went at one of the family's neighborhoods, and then when we came back home, we had to do one more run around our neighborhood. Oh no, Leari, don't make me think about that. Oh gosh, that's gonna happen someday. No, it's fine. She made her own costume this year. She went as a bat. Like a week ago, she very abruptly changed and it was like, actually, I want to be a bat. This is after Hovercat had already made her the very particular costume she had asked for, which was a cat mermaid. And so Hovercat has been sewing and stitching and came up with a fairly convincing cat mermaid costume. And then a week ago, she's like, no, actually, I'm going to be a bat. I'm going to make it myself. Here we go. And so she got some black foam core, cut 2 wings out. We helped her stitch together some elastic so she could actually hold onto the wings and have them strapped like around the elbow. And so she could flap her bat wings, and she made herself a little cutout mask. And she decorated it with glitter glue. Did you guys know glitter glue is a thing? I don't remember glitter glue being a thing when I was a kid. Because it's the worst of both worlds. Actually, no, it's better than raw glitter. I will say it's more benign than raw glitter, which she also loves. Video game character that you've never heard of. John Silksong? There was this, we saw one kid who had a Sonic onesie and a Mario hat. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing, kid? Video game. Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah. I am just plugged into the internet enough to know the general big Undertale Deltarune characters. Yeah. The kids would love Spamton. Yeah. Big player. Big player in the video games these days. Really the Sans Undertale of our time. Glitter glue has been around 10 plus years. Well, Mac, this may surprise you to learn, but my childhood was more than 10 plus years ago. Unless that plus may be doing some really heavy lifting. All right. Oh gosh, I'm all twisted up now. Hold on. Okay. All right. The vote is cast. Mac, that's like all the time I'm doing that. Crazy Pants all the time gets some. Alright, I'm gonna get the art program out. We're gonna do some basic enemy ideas, and then maybe we'll get an actual enemy artwork drawn up for the night. I'm gonna be tired tonight. Just fair warning on that. Okay, so let's see here. Wish I could mouse over and see the size of these existing arts. Just start with 500 by 500. Relatively small. No, the enemies for this chapter are almost entirely plants. No stink bugs. No stink bugs. Get that out of here. Should be able to go trick-or-treating. Free candy. I can't believe she did not also want to be Spamton. Okay, so the idea is that these are plants that are in some way integrated with machinery and not by someone, or more of they have grown within machinery and have sort of adapted to it. So you could have, for instance, some kind of like, that's a terrible corkscrew. How would you do there's a corkscrew. You could have like a corkscrew kind of thing going on, like a big screw coming out of the ground with like a rotating plant head, and it like, there needs to be at least one enemy that plays around with different altitudes. So far, enemies have always been like either full-time flying, or actually I don't think we've done full-time flying, but we've had enemies that are in the air and can be knocked down, or enemies that are just on the ground. We're going to add a new dimension to that with enemies that can toggle, and that's going to be particularly annoying to deal with at first until you get the new party member, Leon, who can attack freely, top or bottom, as long as it's the first person in the row. So it could be that, could be like, I'm thinking sort of like a actually maybe it's just always plant is at the top and can sort of like, but we do a little kind of screw motion as it comes up and down out of the ground. And its big thing is that it moves around by to kind of close the gap and try to attack. And that's how it approaches in the field. Something like that, maybe. So it'll need to have some kind of silly motion that it does when it's going up and down. But then in battle, it'll kind of... Oh, and that can be how it like comes into attack, is it kind of... Chomp. And as long as we play a little silly sound effect with it, I think the effect will be pretty solid. Or at least readable. So that'll be one guy. Let's see here. I have no idea how tall little Toadette's gonna get. Dupu, welcome in. Thank you for the lizard party. More plant technology thing. So we got this idea of like a chompy plant. What other kind of plantage could we do? A buzzsaw plant. Won't stop. Buzzsaw plant. What would that? How would that work? Like a razor leaf sort of thing? Like it's got sharp leaves that's growing off of some kind of stem. No. Or maybe like a nut, like a spiky nut thing, and that can cover your defense. Can cover the defense angle, and it can just kind of like roll into you. Yeah, more like a. What's the type of? Is it birch trees that have? No, not a birch nut. What is this? What is this one called? What is this one called? Sweet gum tree seeds. Sweet gum tree seeds. These guys here. Kind of like that. It's just some kind of spiky. Let's see. How does it just fling itself at you? I should have had this on the loop. Skip that one. I do have a mushroom enemy already drawn up, and maybe that'll show up. Just because it's already done, so that would save me some work. Especially because it would be a very easy one to recolor and recycle for later stuff. The idea with the mushroom enemy is it's an enemy that you do not want to hit from the top, which we've only had one instance of that so far, and that's the Hard Hat Piggle. And his deal is, it's not a huge deal if you hit him from the top. It just, he doesn't take damage unless you hit him with something really strong from the top. So it's like, there's no penalty for hitting him from the top. But the idea with the mushroom is if you bonk his mushroom cap, then it spreads poison spores, and then you have to deal with poison effect. But he doesn't have like any other attack yet. I haven't really fully animated him, but I've drawn him, so it's like there's something there that we can use. Oh, I was talking about Thousand Year Door to Hovercat the other day, as I typically do. And I realized something about Chapter 2 in Paper Mario is there are only like... Oh, you mean the one I drew. There are only like 4 new enemies introduced in Chapter 2. There's the black and white. He's supposed to be like a hang on, hang on, let me pull it back up. Like a tree seed, like a spiky tree seed. Maybe we'll go spikier on him. We're making plant enemies for Chapter 2. Chapter 2 enemies. Can I just look that up? Oh yeah, there we go. There's a whole segment here. Okay, Chapter 2 just has Pale Piranha, Cleft, Dark Puff. You encounter those outside of the dungeon. And then they throw in X-Knot. Oh, and apparently Yucks and Piter. Okay, I didn't think about those guys. Okay, so they add 3 enemies. Piter, X-Knot, Yucks. Yeah, 3 enemies outside the dungeon, 3 enemies inside the dungeon, and then the boss stuff. Like, boss and mid-boss, and that's it. That's really not that much. That's really not that much. I forgot that Yucks shows up. He gets palette swapped a lot. So yeah, we want some tree enemies that are also in some way mechanically integrated. So we're gonna take this, some kind of tall, chompy plant, and mix that with like a screw through the ground, complete with a drill noise. And that's gonna be how he'll like spiral back and forth while drilling upward and downward to change height. That's fun. This guy, does he have anything going on that would make him sort of mechanically... Like, he could be Buzzsaw-like, in addition, but that doesn't really fit with being a spiky ball. I think we kind of got this covered. Venus Fly... This is vaguely our Venus Flytrap proxy. Just a chompy plant. This guy can be our defense sort of guy. Ooh, and let's also let Cat knock this guy around into other enemies, the same as the snails. I think that would be good to kind of recycle that setup. Yeah, these guys... No, is there a way to incorporate that mechanically? If you're asking about the guy I'm talking about right now, that's the question I was... That's what I was actually asking myself aloud. Is, you know, how do we integrate this guy mechanically? So let's see. Because originally I was thinking Buzzsaw when I drew out a spiky shape. But now, if we go kind of the birch seed or sweet gum tree seed route, well, then he's more of a three-dimensional shape, not just a flat buzzsaw. So that's kind of out. Wrecking Ball is... no. Could self-ignite? That's a little weird. He becomes a bomb. No. Let's see, something spherical. Not a lot of industrial application for large sphere, is there? I mean, gear is not out of the question, but a little bit. There's no mill. I get where you're going from, but there simply is not a mill in this chapter. Let's see here. Maybe we table this guy for now and think about how we're gonna integrate him. Let's see, what else is there? Plant. Machine. Plant and machine. Leaf and fan. Something, possibly. Let's see here. Like, petals and fan. Then what does that do, really? Blows debris around, and then the debris is what hits you. I don't know, sure. Give it a big windy noise when it starts spinning. Let's see here. Yeah, maybe. Let's just give that a go. Let's see, what would that be? It would need some kind of center point, though. Because you got to put a face on it, right? Oh, dang it. You know what? Plants vs. Zombies did this already. Plants vs. Zombies already has a fan-based plant with leaves that spin. Hey, Gamion. Extra death. Like, maybe make him more of a flower. More of a flower. And less of a clover. Hey, Al. Now there's a can make him a sunflower because, well, so I was originally intending the boss of Chapter 2 to be more of a sunflower. But I guess just having a little flower is fine. 6 mile walk, not bad. Not bad at all. No. The joke is, and I used this in a very old, the first long-running project I ever did for game development. The first project that ever took me a whole year to finish was called Runaway Rabbit. Well, I guess it took me like 10 months or so. And I had sunflowers that attacked you with their petals. And they were called, their enemy name was Sunglower. And it's a bit of a, it's like, yeah, I guess, yes, there is technically a pun there. It's not a great one, but sure. So yeah, this guy can hang out, I guess. This guy's here, sure. This guy works. This guy is working not because of good design, but purely because of how there's a mechanical interest there. There's something mechanically interesting about an enemy that shifts between being out of reach and down on the ground in this type of game, because you have a partner who can only hit things on the ground, and so you actually have to think ahead, like, ooh, wait, who should attack first? Who should be hitting what? So that's good. That's good. It presents an interesting puzzle to the player. Similarly, this guy being high defense is a little something at least. And being able to bonk into other enemies is really good. Paul on a late shift, but up. 3 plant enemies would be good, but we can go further. I don't know where you got that idea. No, he will not. Definitely not. There are 3 distinct enemies that will operate independently. Let's see here. Dandelion? You want dandelion? No, can't really mechanicalize that. Not sure if I want him to have a mouth. Or even a face at all. I guess he needs a face, doesn't he? Well, no, he doesn't. He needs something, though. Maybe just eyes. So to bring you up to speed, the idea is that each enemy needs to somehow integrate both plant and some kind of mechanical machinery. So I'm thinking industrial fan for the flower, and so it will kind of spin quickly as its major attack. The chompy plant here is going to be like integrated with a drill that kind of screws in and out of the ground. I don't know about the nut. I don't know exactly what the nut's gonna do. Might be a tricky one. Let's see here. Do some kind of something similar to Webster, something kind of hanging from above that's like a winch. Metallic grabby thing. Always good to have a metallic grabby thing. I mean, I'm probably just gonna have him slowly roll across the ground. Maybe he doesn't even need anything. Maybe he's just interesting. Maybe he's completely unrelated to anything that's going on. It's just like, no, there's a nut. Don't worry about it. It's Voltorb. He's just rolling around at the speed of sound. Maybe he does a status effect. Possibly. I do need to think about status effects, definitely. I was mentioning that I have a mushroom that can poison, that's drawn and mostly animated, but he doesn't have a regular attack. He just kind of sits there. But then he becomes a third party and kind of unrelated to the plot, whereas these other ones kind of like, oh, that's weird. Interesting. Becomes another plant enemy. Maybe that's his shtick. If you leave him too long, I don't know, he cracks open. And now what are you gonna do with it? It could be that the mechanical stuff is kind of more in the dungeon. Like, that would make more sense. Like we take the ones that are kind of more integrated and save those for the dungeon, and then everything else is like, well, that's just for, you know, while you're in the tree hanging around. And we sprinkle a few of them. There is precedent for that. Thousand Year Door did have one enemy that appeared both in the regular field and in the dungeon for Chapter 2, so it's like, yeah, that's fine. Just a little mushroomy guy. He's poisonous, by the way. A thing. A weird plant thing. There you go. Okay, so let's get at least 2 more, if we can manage. Do we want a hanging enemy? Hanging could be good. Let's see. Like a gantry crane? That doesn't really make much sense, does it? Let's see. What else we got? Conveyor belt. Piston. Mechanical piston. What else? What machinery? Mechanical arm. Like one of those robots in automobile factories. Let's see. Blowtorch. Steamroller. Like what else would be in a heliosphere? What kind of machinery would you actually want in a heliosphere? You need to boil water. You're getting the heat from solar power, but you need to pump the water. Turbine. Make a turbine into a plant. You gotta pump the water, you gotta boil the water. And then you gotta actually turn the turbine with steam to generate the electricity. And then you need to actually carry the electricity. You need to carry the electricity on something. So some kind of electrified vine, perhaps? Like a power line? Yeah, wires. Effectively a copper wire plant. Powered rail. Some sort of shocking vine. Color cat might need a snack. But she doesn't know what she wants. Electricity makes some sense. You gotta store the power. Because the lines are not carrying electricity currently, although in the factory they would. So we could roll with that. Electric hanging vine, anodes. What does that look like? Oh, in the factory, you're not going to be in the factory until you get the power on, or in the power plant until the power is on. At which point, electricity is fair game. Before that, not so much. So it will be an interior thing. Like some kind of latching vine. Could toggle between being electrified and not. Well, that's tricky though, because who can hit from a Pat is wearing gloves, right? So she's allowed to hit electric things with her wrench. Right? Probably. Okay, have a plant that grows out like this, and then do kind of a you know, one of these. Like, what do you call those? What are those called? Something ladder? Oh boy. Either. Okay. Hovercat sent me a message of what she wants, but she started with either this, 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 or this. I need to know which one she wants. She's under the weather, and I want to make sure I don't want to try to interpret and guess which thing. Okay, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I need to get 5 things. So, wait, I've got just the thing. I've got just the dumb thing. Just bring her all the thing, all 4 of the ethers. I've got just the dumb thing for this guy. So I'm gonna be gone for like 5 minutes or so. I should run the ad while I'm gone. So, this is such a good idea. This is such a good idea. I am brilliant. Come on, wait, get to my... Yeah, all right, I'm gonna run the ad and I'm gonna put the game up. I'll be back soon. Enjoy this, if you remember what this is. see. How can I? It's fine. Hello. Back. We're so back. There's no way I can change the size of this, huh? Oh, wait. No, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted either. No, it just doesn't exist in any other size. I mean, admittedly... We'll call it a draw. All right. What is the thing? What is the thing? Jacob's ladder. The electrical thing. Okay, so it's thin. It's just arcing electricity. So how would you do that with a plant? How would you do that with a plant? Like, I mean, that works vaguely. It's not my favorite, because where do you put a face on that, you know? Not everything needs a face, but it certainly helps. Plant. Bamboo? Make it bamboo? Is there anything to that? Let's see, what would that be like? What would that look like if you just had like 2 bamboo shoots? And then some like, we'll go with purple electricity because that's how you know it means business. Something like that. Face in the electricity. Then it seems like the electricity is somehow sentient. And that's not the case. Something kind of like, okay, arcing electricity. Instead of that, maybe like a battery, electrical battery. Something electricity. It can discharge energy and grant a status effect to the other enemies, like a yeah, Tesla coil. I was leaning heavily on Jacob's ladder, but I do think that's something we could work with. So basically do something like this. Except much flatter, right? Okay, a plant. A plant of this style. Well, anything that has a controllable frequency. So this is basically just. So what can we do with this? Gosh, that really looks very mushroom-like. I'd hate to drop the poison mushroom, but maybe. Well, you can have 2 mushrooms. One regular poisony mushroom, and then one more, just like a very tall stalk. And then we make it kind of a cap. And then just give it kind of, I don't know, something going on, and then give it like a little bit of animated crackle of electricity going on. And then it can occasionally, yeah, like charge up enemies and make it so that you don't want to touch them. Is that what TTYD did have electrified as a status effect. There was a beneficial status effect that just meant that physical contact attacks would be interrupted and damage the damage dealer instead. So that's interrupted attacks suck. Might be what we have to do. But there's an idea. And we can also have, 2 mushrooms of different types. One that's more mechanically integrated, one that's more natural outside mushroom. Okay, that gives us something. What else? Anything else? Hog plant, maybe? Laser plant. Okay, what would work well for an enemy that you don't want to attack directly? Like, what would pair well? Steam chat when text momentarily turn into green blocks. That is weird. Green blocks. Should try capturing that in OBS. Like fraction of a second. Let's see. Okay, so electrified enemy. Is that what we want? Electrified enemy. So if it pumps power into a plant, I mean, it could just be that it buffs the other plants, but it could be, yeah, just a fraction of a second. Weird. A buffing enemy is an interesting one. Sprinkler system? Sprinkler system enemy? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Does it? Like basically healing other plants? That'd be a weird combo. Okay, what if the electrical thing is more of a negative status effect placed on the player? Like it's not, you know, charged up. It's more of a shocked sort of thing. What does that do? Prevents using energy. Basically a mute spell, like old school Final Fantasy mute. Where you just can't use magic. Let's see. How does that affect things? If I tell you, no, you can't use any special abilities. That blocks you from, if you've got some special attacks lined up with modules for things like heavy damage, you're locked out of that for a bit. Oh, change it up a bit. Okay, so you use energy points to use special attacks. Instead of outright locking you out of them, shocked as a status effect means for every point of energy you spend, you also lose that much health. So you can do it in a pinch, but it would be a bad idea. Make it conductive, or is there a word for you know, potentially electrified? I'm not gonna use uninsulated. We'll go with conductive or shocked. Okay, yeah, let this guy have more of a negative status effect thing that he throws out there. Maybe he can also have a weak attack, but he's more of a nuisance in a pool of other enemies. And then like maybe he can also buff his fellow plant enemies. What if there was an arena effect of wet floor? And if you're on wet floor, then electric damage becomes area of effect? Maybe? Or does additional damage? I'm trying to think of ways we can combine these things in interesting ways. If there's only one Shocky guy, then it's not huge. But like, if you see a Shocky guy and someone's like, that's not gonna, he's gonna deal a little bit of damage every once in a while. That's nothing. All I gotta do is not use any energy attacks. But then if it's like, oh, but now the floor is wet, and it's like, oh, uh-oh. Suddenly he becomes a major threat. So what wet? Is wet a status effect? Wet can't be a status effect, can it? Huh. I feel like it's almost like a field status effect. Okay, there's something interesting there. Okay. Let's say underwater becomes a thing later. Then it's like, okay, the arena is wet. The arena is wet. Watch out. If you get hit with an electric attack, then, oh, it's really bad now. Whereas before it was like, it's no big deal. A little bit of electric damage. But when you're underwater, it's like, uh-oh, now we gotta watch out for this. But also you can use it to your advantage. If you're underwater, use an electric attack on the enemies, and it's like, haha, now I can mop the floor with them. So there's something there. Yeah. Like, give the player a module somewhere in a chapter that includes underwater combat, such that the player can actually dole out electric attacks, and they put 2 and 2 together and like, oh, this could be really useful here. Aha. But this is our first time doing wet. I don't think wet should be an individual status effect. Or should it? Should it be that, like, if you are wet, you take double damage from electricity? Like, that's it. That's all it is. Or should it be like, no, wet is an arena-wide status effect. Doesn't affect any individual unit. It affects the battle as a whole. And it makes it so that electric attacks are always area of effect. You attack one thing with electricity, you attack all things on that side, all things on that team with electricity. Maybe. Most fights with regular enemies only last 1 or 2 rounds. This is true. So what I've got in my mind is like some kind of water tank enemy. Like a pitcher plant, I guess. And when they are defeated, the water spills out. And now it's like, caution, wet floor. And this creates an issue with electricity. And for the 1 or 2 round thing, I do want... Yeah. I guess part of it is like, how should the game handle it? Because I will forcibly apply it to the characters or to the arena. I just don't have a way of doing that yet. Well, no, because I don't think there will be any attack that can make things wet. I think it's going to be happenstance. Like, it is something that happens as a matter of course. If you defeat the pitcher plant, everything is wet. If you start a fight underwater, everything is wet. It's not like something you actively apply as a move. It happens as a matter of course in the flow of battle. And maybe sometimes just as a random event for some reason. I don't know. Like, oh, it's rainy now. So Battle Arena is wet. Good luck with the electricity. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to do it. And I think for simplicity, specifically to handle summons, I think arena-wide effect makes more sense. Because let's say I apply wet to individual units. So, oh, the pitcher plant went down, so now every enemy and every player character gets wet. Okay, but now, I don't know, somehow there's also an enemy that can be summoned. Well, that enemy is not wet, despite being in a wet arena, because they never got it applied to them. They got to the battle after everything was done, even though it would make sense for them to be wet. So that makes me think, under the hood, wet should be a new thing, which is a arena effect. I think that can work. That does mean that we, because that would be a really interesting thing to do with this guy. Yeah, because you can do other things with that, right? Yeah, new arena effects. Who rolls dice to help him decide what attack to use? No, there's not. Yeah, I'm worried about the prospect that at some point I'm gonna have to include missing as a mechanic. Not for everyday attacks. Thousand Year Door doesn't really have an accuracy system, but there is a status effect. There are 2 status effects. Well, 3. 3? 4? 3. There's Dodgy, which means that every attack has a 50% chance to miss you. There's Invisible, which means every attack always misses you. And then there's Dizzy, which means you have a 50% chance of missing every attack. But... oh, and this is brutal. It means that every battle move animation that I've done has to account for... there needs to be a slightly different way the animation plays out when you miss. Every single one. Because imagine, a snail rolls into you. You can't just say, oh, it missed, because, well, no, obviously the animation shows the snail ricocheting off of the player when it hits. So now, all of those have to be redone, not completely, but slightly, to say, if the attack would hit, do this bit of animation, and otherwise roll right through and then return to start. Oh, and that's scary. That's scary. But if I want to do missing as a mechanic, which I might, especially because we have a chameleon in the party, and that would make a lot of sense for him to have like a camouflaging ability that gives you a 50% chance of being missed. You know, that tracks. Oh. I haven't told you guys about my new aggressive schedule for Paper Robot, which is, I think it would be really cool and amazing to be done with Chapter 4 by the end of next year. That's extremely aggressive, but if I can pull it off, we'll be making good time. Okay, pitcher plant. Why being so aggressive? A sound effect and a little miss pop up. That'd be tricky. Yeah, because you have to swap out the sound of the collision. Which, granted, that only happens because of the damage being done. Paper Robot Amiibo. Paper Robot Amiibo. What can a pitcher plant do on its own? It's just a weird, it's a bucket. It's a weird bucket plant. It's just a weird... And then maybe it has a leaf on top. You know how vaguely how pitcher plants look. It looks like a pitcher. And then maybe it has a leaf on top. I don't know. But then, like, what do you do with that? It's like, okay, the idea is that it's full of water. What else can we do that could be full of water? A victory bell. That's the one. Like, if we want this to be possible, if we want to allow for water conducting electricity to be an effect that we have to deal with, how does that happen? How do we make that work? I mean, pitcher plant kind of fits the bill of, okay, plant, but like pretend it's full of water, like a pitcher. You see where I'm going with that? But that's like, I don't know. That doesn't seem quite right. Just a big watery blob of plant, just a wet plant. More croissant. Croissant. First base. I could do like a water balloon style plant or something. I don't know. Cactus with water in it. Sprinkler system, kind of, but like not really. Bucket of water plant. How do we get water on the floor? Or maybe it's not even an enemy that causes it. Maybe it's specific areas apply that effect. Like, you have to go through an area that has water pooling, and any battles you start in that area will automatically have the wet floor modifier. I love it, GQ. You're full of so many original and creative ideas. Maybe that's what we roll with, is just that there are some areas that are wet. And that's that. Any spiky plant that no. I'm trying to think of any other plants that do something when you defeat them. Moist games. It's the world's first moist-like game. Okay, I mean, Thousand Year Door has 6 unique non-boss enemies in Chapter 2. So, if we have 5, that's reasonable. What does Bug Fables add? What are the Chapter 2 new enemies in Bug Fables? Let's see here. No, not the fandom website. Mirahese, there we go. Oh, but this doesn't really sort, does it? Bestiary. There we go. How is this? Okay, location. I guess Acornling shows up for the first time in Chapter 2. Sure. Numbnail, which is a snail. Chomper. Weevil. Mini-boss. 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 Boss. Okay, 4. Bug Fables introduces 4 new enemies. Hey, Day. No, the robots were just basically just drones, like in a warehouse. They didn't have any altruistic desire to, you know, share their technology. The jungle vine from Terraria. I see a little bit of that. The way it moves is going to be very different. Very different indeed. Okay. 5 new enemies. I think we reserve the 2 on the right for in the dungeon. The other 3 can be wherever, and it's fine. Within the chapter. What else? Do we need anything else in here? That should be enough. There'll probably be some new enemies we come up with as well. All right. What do we do here? What say ye, chat? Shall we draw one of these enemies or switch to Blender for the purposes of what you call it? What do you call it? Right, the railings in Birdtown that need to be corrected because, gosh, they look awful. It's like we got a nice little shortcut of just getting them in place, but yeah, that's not going to fly. These need to be heavily improved. I wonder if I should build these modularly. Oh, geez, that would be nice, wouldn't it? If these could just kind of be, like, plopped in. Little grabby flying drone dudes. Oh, we're long outside the factory at this point. Also, the factory does not have any active mechanical things. That's crucial. That's crucial. There are no active robots running around. Here, tell you what, let's save this in our Scratch. Here we go, Scratch folder. Chapter 2, enemies. And then let's pop open Blender. Terraria on the brain. That'll do it. I've been picking at Steel Soul, Silk Song stuff. Okay. And yeah, I don't think there's any way we go through Last Judge. Phantom is actually very doable. She's much more predictable, gives a lot more heads up on her attacks. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. Right, how does this work? How does this work? Oh, it's just a spot. It's just a spot. So what is this? No, that just is what it is. All right, cool. Why not? All right. So the plan is, I want to have some kind of vaguely modular pieces that we could smack together to be railings. So I think what we go with is we kind of do like these like sticks, like little Y-shaped sticks poking up as posts, and then like crinkly, crazy little woven branches for the rail. And then we can kind of like rotate and stretch as we need to get it to piece together. And then we actually add a hitbox in Godot. So yeah, if we do that, we don't really need any of this stuff because we can just make it fit to whatever we need. The only thing we really need for this then is knowing the general size that we need for one of these things. So about yay big. That makes sense. Sense that would happen. Yeah, like about a little 2-meter block ish. Meter and a half. We'll try that. And then vertically 1 meter. All right. So let's try it then. Why does this work? There we go. Great. Hello, Small. It's very good to see you here tonight. We are gonna make some twigs and branches and other various wooden tidbits. Yeah, let's do it. I'd say that for that sort of thing, we want to start with a cylinder, but like a really, really low poly kind of cylinder. Like that. Oops. What? So here's the area we are working on. And we made these really crappy prototype rails around this area. And in some places it's like, oh, you know what? That's reasonable. I'm okay with that. And in other places it's like, well, the automated UVs are awful and it doesn't quite line up right. And all right, never mind. We won't do it that way. Because this was just made by taking the existing CSG polygon that we set up for the floor and just scaling and intercepting with other polygons, and the result is really ugly. And so we're going to try and make something that's actually good this time. For that, I'm going to need to grab some of my materials. Let's see here. image texture from my folder. Ooh, where? No, not any of these. What else do we have? Ah, bark. Oof. Oof, oof. All right, that'll work. So that's the general idea. Alex, thank you for the raid. The dev. Hello, welcome in. How are you doing? How was your stream? It's so good to meet you. I am Dobbs. I am a software developer of like 12 years, but in my spare time, under cover of nightfall. Photon! Back-to-back raids. Welcome in. Giving up on Linux again. No! I get it. Night of Dev raids. Double raid across the sky. What could it mean? Welcome in, Photon. I hope things are going well. How was your stream also? For those coming in who don't know me, I'm Dobbs. I'm a hobbyist game developer, and I'm working on a game that is very much basically Paper Mario. And there's a free demo. More switches. Heck yeah. Well, the plan should too. All right, so what we're working on tonight is this awful looking railing. This is bad. This is really bad. We're in chapter 2 of the game, and it needs a good facelift. And that is what we're working on tonight. Well, no. So I may make the railings a little bit shorter than 1 meter now that I'm looking at this. It's like that's pretty high up. Oh, thank you, Alex. I feel pretty good about it. Got a little robot man. Yeah, it's to keep the birds from sleepwalking away. A rescue bird. You know what game did that? Because that was a thing that happened in a video game, a rather popular video game. Oh, you knew? Okay, well, I wanted to be the first to tell you, but yes, Zelda did it. As a matter of fact. Yes, Zelda did do it. Okay, well, you knew then. Yeah, let's make this significantly smaller. All right, so we're gonna extrude. Are we gonna extrude? How are we gonna do this? I want to split. I want to split this out. What does that look like? You split a hexagon into like I could union it with another one, but then Okay, hang on. Let's try this. Let's try it this way. So we extrude out, and also we kind of do this number here. You have good news. Share. Or share. Okay, and then you cut or loop cut here. Rotate. Sure. And then somehow you get a hexagon out of this. I mean, you could do a knife cut, right? You could cut, like, what would this be like? What would this be like if you do this? I guess it doesn't have to be a hexagon, but, like, what would this do? What does this do? Like that kind of works. That kind of works. Scale X, 0, rotate. Look at that. See that? You know what? That's not bad. Oh, nice. It's happening. It's happening. That's good news. Well, I hope that all goes well. Swimmingly even. There, it's a Y-shaped twig. Like, could we no, we don't want to merge that down. Oh, is it gonna do that twice? We'll see. We'll see if the bot's gonna be nice or not. Okay, so something kind of like this, right? Okay, and then this, I feel like needs to be a little bit smaller. Oop, oop. Oop, oop. Oh, that's weird. That's bizarre, but okay. A lot of script writing too. Yeah, I imagine so. But, calm down. Scale that down a bit more. Yeah. Hang on. It's starting to look like it's taking shape a bit more as a twig. Loop cut in 2 loop cuts here. And then give it some wiggle. Give it some wiggle and waggle. Oh, yes. Wiggle and waggle, good. Wiggle and waggle, so good. In fact, it's so good. Put a loop cut here. And give me a little bit of this. A little bit of this. Boom. Twiggy. Art assets. Yes! This, and this. We'll use a new material. New material. Which I am going to use image texture. Open from my hard drive here. Stump texture. All right, well, now I have to assign it. But yeah, there's no way that's gonna line up correctly. So let's open up the UV editing. Oh, look at that, that looks great. That looks great right there. The other two are great, actually, for real. Just do a smart project. Just do a project from view, and we'll roll with that. You know what? That's fine. We can roll with that. All right, let's check it. Not even characters. Turtle is a character. Introducing Turtle. Okay, something like this, vaguely. Is that the one that I'm looking at? Which one am I looking at right now? Oh, that one. That one looks great. Looks great, actually. Okay, just wanna... This is getting a little bit perfectionist. But it's fine. It's fine. All right. Basically line that up the same. Oh man, guys, I had D&D last night, and I had to do the really intense dwarf voice, and I woke up with a pretty sore throat as a result, if you can believe that. All right, that works. That, honestly, yeah. Hey, casual. Oh, so Casual, I don't even think I showed you this. So up until recently, I've just had manually created loops and just a little playlist on my hard drive for having the music running on stream while I'm not actually in game. And during that bonus stream that we had last week, we spent about 2 hours and straightened things out a bit. And now we have this lovely little web page that actually has selectable songs, and it auto plays for like 6 minutes before moving to the next one. And you can shift click individual tracks to have it skip that in the autoplay, so that you can kind of build your own little playlist. And it remembers it when you come back to the page, which I think is pretty sweet. Even got some secret songs that people aren't supposed to know about yet in there. And now we have a twig. Oh gosh, that's actually a pretty good twig, I gotta say. So the idea is that we can scale this and make a modular piece out of this. I'm getting rid of this. All of this is getting deleted. All of this is getting deleted. All of this deleted. Now we have just this. Better work than Nintendo. Man, Nintendo sure does have an app. Twig. Whoops. Caps lock was on. Twig. Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and export this. We're going to build the modular piece outside of Blender so that we can adjust it. Birdtown Rail Post. And then I guess the actual rail can just be kind of the same bit, but without the Y branch. Just kind of have a little twiggy bit that fits in there. So let's see. Can I do this relatively easily without like really hating myself? I think we can make this work. I think we can rebuild it. It's doable. It's doable. Okay, so this needs to be a little bit more twiggly, with no noticeable point where it's wider than another. New pen pals, you can play it. We can have some skinnier parts and stuff, but I definitely need it to be... let's take these 2 bits and kind of move them off to the side a bit, maybe rotate them a bit, and then take this one and move it off, I don't know, this way. All right. Pretty straight, but it'll work. What if I do auto smooth? What do we get? No. I think I do want the flat shading on that. Twig Stack. Oh, good. I guess we'll take a listen to that. Let's take a listen to a potential track for field exploration at the start of chapter 2. Turn down the roughness, or turn up the roughness a bit, make it a little bit less reflective. I like it. That is good. A little bit dangerous. Oh, we hit a B section. Nice. It throws you for a loop. I like that. I call these Board Town Rail. Wait, so what is the how does the chord let me listen to the where we're pitched at. Just gotta make it loop well. Okay. Yeah, I think that can jump down without too much trouble. And honestly, if it does have a sort of unusually harsh chord swap, that would work in its favor, really. All right, here we go. Birdtown Rail. Create new folder. Rails. That's fine. Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, so Casual, I don't know if I mentioned to you specifically, but this will be of some interest, is the my current planned velocity on getting through this game. I'm going to try to get chapters 2, 3, and 4 done by the end of next year. Which I don't think that will be any trouble for the rate that you're able to get songs done. But I'm going to be really intense on the programming stuff. Which means if there is a song for which you need example music, like mock-up stuff, I would say if that happens, just skip it for now. No, Casual, I mean, you don't even know how fast he's able to get songs together. It's impressive. We're going to call this Modular Rail. Yes, thank you. Casual's got some impressive speed. The nope, I lost it. I had a thought. It's gone. Flew away. So we put in a rail. Boom. Looks amazing, may I say. We're gonna aim for 1 meter? 2 meters? Uh-oh, funny ideas are coming. Oh boy. Chapter 4. Well, okay. So here's the great part about Chapter 4. Chapter 4, I have next to no plans. Actually, no. I mean, I know the general theming. I will give that to you in DM just now. That's the general theme for Chapter 4. Here's the catch. Well, one is you actually already made like maybe 1/3 to 1/2 of a really good song. And the one other song that I had a suggestion for is so out there that I think it's gonna take some serious work to figure out how to do it properly. It's gonna be a thing. I mean, if you're wanting to go for it, yeah. Okay, so something kind of like this is what we're gonna do. But here's the tricky thing. I really, really need for these to not overlap with each other when they're modularing. So we're gonna try and do some shenanigans and tomfoolery. There we go. To make it so that they can kind of do something kind of like that. So that when one of them is in place, the other will kind of still be okay. A little bit bigger there. Go 2 degrees instead. And maybe we can kind of really go silly with this. With additional bits and bobs here. Okay, well now they're not even touching. Okay, that looks better. So this one isn't even on the thing anymore. So that means that this can come down to like 2.5. Nope, still got air between them. Okay, that works. Naturally. Dinosaurs. Now we're talking. We're finally getting somewhere with this. Do we want to go with like multiple branches? It's gonna get a little bit more cramped in here, but maybe that's okay. That's not good. Is this too much going on here for this? Like, this could be what we've got going on, because this is. I can stack this now. Like if we duplicate this, we can plop, and then that can repeat indefinitely. A little bit. Yeah, that's. Because then occasionally we need to like hook it into a curve or something, and then that goes weird. So maybe not quite like that. Yeah, maybe we don't do these kind of overlapping bits here, and it's just this bit. Just a post and a stick. And that's literally it. And that just goes 1.5 meters. Let's take this one out and this one out. Move these. So, sure, yeah. That's fine. And then just attach a collision box to it. Of some size. Something like this. There we go. Turn on collision and hide it. Okay, this can work. This can work. Modular rail. Do I want like a... maybe I want a little cross beam through here, though. What if I do? All right, hold on. Let's see if that's doable. How doable would that be? Like, scale down a bit. Scale down to 1. Like, honestly, as long as it doesn't interfere with this one, then we can kind of wedge it in underneath. Somewhere here-ish looks okay. Yeah, honestly, yeah. There's our modular piece. It's just crazy enough to work. All right. Let's try and build out a rail with this now. Hey, Bob. Welcome in. All right, we're going to try this. So we've got modular rail now. So we're going to slap that in and go to town. Is it the right scale for what we want? We're gonna find out. Let's put that right over here. And just see if that looks okay. A little small actually, which is unfortunate. I mean, it could still work. It can definitely still work. Because, I mean, it's more size for the birds in that case. Yeah, why not? Let's roll with it. The fact that it's one unit definitely helps a bit for some of this stuff. All right, hide that, and let's get to work. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit ugly in some of these spots, and we just need to deal with it. Also, it's going to be a lot harder to snap it into place when we're operating at an angle. The little CSG boxes should give us a little bit of a guide. See that? Yeah, that one's bad. That was bad. No good, no good. Let's see here. Plop that. Oh, this is gonna take some time, isn't it? It makes me want to spend like an hour making different little decoration pieces instead, so that I don't have to do this. Spend a lot of time on other things. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's a little bit awkward, but I think this amount of mesh is not going to be an issue for the engine. All right, all right, so here's where yeah, we just stretch a little bit. We cheat a little bit. And then we put an individual post added in. Babylon JS game? Babylon JS. I'm not familiar with Babylon JS. Wait, how did this happen? How did I get another modular rail in here? Just trying to put in a post. I mean, just a post. I've done a lot in JS. That's one of my invalid JSON. I'm not exactly super well versed on a lot of the specific frameworks available out there. Game engine for web with no engines. This might be like getting down into semantics, but I'd argue that is the engine then. As in the payment processing service type. I don't know if I want to get involved with that. Not because I don't trust it. It's just because I would hate to deal with that sort of stuff. Because then you open yourself to all of like the legal stuff you have to manage. Hey Goob, welcome in. What's up everybody? Thanks for the raid. Average raid. Welcome in, everyone. For those that don't know me, my name is Dobbs. I am a software developer by day and hobbyist game dev by night. I'm currently working on a Godot game in the style of Thousand Year Door. which is one of my favorite games. We're working on improving this little railing here. That is looking a lot better, honestly. It looks a lot more tree-like. It's like, it's a little bit repetitive looking, but oh, and that hitbox is... Oh, wait, that's because the other hitbox still exists. I haven't actually deleted that node yet. I just hit it. Yeah, that looks okay. It's all right. Thanks, Goob. It's been a long work in progress, but we're getting there. Yeah, the new rails look a lot better overall. A lot more interesting for sure. I'm a little bit worried about how repetitive they are, but hopefully they'll just read as like, it's rails. Okay, got it. Don't need to look at the pretzel sticks anymore. Well, now I'm gonna have to like actually do something here instead of using CSGs to fake it over here for these rope bridges. Dang it. We're gonna be getting back into Blender a lot this week after all. So Goob, how was the stream? Working on anything interesting tonight? Yeah, this rail stuff is just, you know, it's better than it was. I'll say that much. But wait, hang on. Dig out the soundboard for. Oh, there we go. Vive Clicker 1.4. Play through the current build. I did see whose was it that I was looking at Vibe Clicker? Was it Cricket or Cat Minosa? I don't remember whose stream had it pinned. And I was like, I know that one. Yeah, okay, Cat. I was over in his stream the other day just lurking. I'm a heavy lurker. And did a little work on how... Okay. Admittedly, it was on an older version, but for a brief time, I had the top score, not top score, the lowest time on Golden Bear percent. If I'm going only off of the itch comments. I tried to post a comment on it, but I had to make an account. Can you believe I don't have an account on itch? And they were like, that's suspicious that you're a new account and you made a comment. We'll post it. You know, just we're not gonna post it right now. And I don't think it ever showed up. Yeah. Oh, 30-minute song. Oh, good. All right. So Casual is our music band. We're listening to. This is he's worked on the music for the game. All right. I'm gonna pause. And we're gonna listen to a new song he's got going. Theme of just Snowy Mountain. And he's made this in 30 minutes for us. I like it. I like it a lot already. Very, very atmospheric, just kind of open, which is cool. I really like it when you leave room in the music. That is cool. That's a really good, strong start. Strong start. A++. Very cool, Casual. Yeah, Casual, they've been doing the music since... Well, I guess, let's say that they've been making music for games I've been working on since before I've been doing anything on Steam. Because I guess web games were my first real foray into playable things. that I could actually present to people. And so I did a lot of that sort of stuff. Oh, there's the captain himself. Speak of the devil. Welcome aboard, Captain. But yeah, when I, the first big project I did, yes, that's right, Al, Dabble Worlds. Dabble Worlds, I feel like Dabble Worlds was really something. Even though it wasn't popular or anything, I sure did work on it like it was. That was the first Dabble Direct where I was like, all right, guys, I've been working on something in secret. Oh gosh, thank you for all the parties. Steam port. You know what? I think it's doable. All right, hear me out. I've theory crafting. For anyone who doesn't know, Dabble Worlds is a kind of Mario Maker style game. So it is, at its core, it is a level editing engine with a lot of elements that can affect each other in interesting ways, and then you can just build little platforming stages with it. Some people built some really, really insanely tough stuff that I, to this day, cannot beat. But the general concept was like, yeah, here's a pretty easy to use level editor. Go around, make little levels, have fun, be creative, and people made some really amazing stuff. And it was all in vanilla JavaScript. Oh, we're just keeping the parties going. Oh yeah, there is a free demo for this, which if the streams that I have watched are any indication, it's about 4 hours long. I'm sorry. But in my defense, I feel like that is how long it takes to really explore a lot of the interesting concepts that make it a little bit more than just a Paper Mario clone. This game is predominantly for people who are fans of the old school Paper Mario games more than the new ones and just want more of that. And as a result, it's not just going to be the things that were in those old games. It's going to be some things that extend those systems, expand on those concepts. It's him. Well, Lag, you've been spending... It's because you were throwing yourselves at every block of collision for 2 hours straight, looking for all the places where I screwed up. It's for people who are fans of Paper Robot, specifically. That's right. Oh, right, Dabble Worlds. Okay. Dabble Worlds was a huge undertaking that I worked on in secret for several months and then just plopped down a complete game in front of my community and said, here you go, go nuts. And I actually built a ASP.NET backend API for it, Discord authentication, so that you actually would upload levels to the server. You could browse the latest levels, you could like levels, all this fun stuff. That said, yeah. Well, admittedly, at work, my professional life is full stack dev, but it's corporate applications. So you gotta understand a lot of it's gonna be a bit older, and I'm just gonna if I can plop out an API in like a few afternoons with the stuff I know, it's like, sure, yeah, it's fine. It works. It still works. Let's roll with it. So that's what was going on for the back end. But as it turns out, hosting the database and the API and all that, it's not free. Ooh, Pascal. I've never really grasped it. But anyway, eventually it was like, all right, server costs versus number of people who are still wanting to play it. I'm making it local only. If you have a new level, give it to me and I'll upload it to the GitHub, and then it'll be available for people playing it on the web. But we're not going to do the live update stuff like we were with the server. I'm going to save that money for more important things like food. But I've been theory crafting. What if we ported Dabble Worlds to Steam? Now, if I did that, I would want to rebuild it. I would want to rebuild it from scratch because, believe it or not, JavaScript is not the best for performance. Specifically, okay. I wasn't using like WebASM or WebGL kind of stuff. I was using raw Canvas calls, like the Canvas API. You know, like fill rectangle with this image. Like it's. I was playing with what I knew. As it turns out, though, yeah, I love Canvas. I love the Canvas system. Unfortunately, it is slow. It's really bad because there's no hardware acceleration. Chrome does something different than other engines for rendering to Canvas that makes Chrome significantly faster. But if you play on any other browser for Canvas-based games, it struggles a lot. So you basically can't play it on Firefox, I've found, which is unfortunate because that's what I use today. So let's say I rewrite the game in Godot. I would have to learn a lot about Godot 2D because it feels so backwards that I'm more well versed in 3D Godot than 2D, considering that up until getting into Godot, I was doing exclusively 2D stuff. Hey, Bach. I mean, other than that, I've had no real trouble with Firefox, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So rewrite it. Actually, first off, learn 2D in Godot. And I mean, like, really get into tile-based stuff, because Dabble Worlds was tile-based. I haven't even shown you. There's a lot of people out here that don't even know Dabble Worlds. So hold on. Let's actually pull up what is Dabble Worlds. The people want to know what is that game with only emojis and colors. Oh, I did some really I'm gonna say cursed stuff to optimize Canvas. Like, I really got into the nitty gritty on how to make the Canvas run as well as I could get it to run. Let's see here. Here we go. Pause music. We're gonna, nope, change song. All right. Not the whole direct. Actually, no, sure, why not? Just give me the whole direct. Okay. We're not actually watching the whole direct, but me in a suit, great. Like I did a whole stupid little animation in here with, like, oh gosh, this was intense. Because that was the like, haha. It's what is it? This was the the double fake out. Was like, haha, throwaway gag about Mario Maker. But no, it's like, no, that was the actual game. Okay. Then it did the actual trailer. Okay. So this is what the game looks like. Very tile-based heavy. Okay. Very chunky pixels, which I don't know if I would keep that art style or not. It's certainly easier to make, but it's harder to get everything to look good together. Also, it was a terrible decision on my part. 12 by 12. I went 12 by 12 for the tile size. Okay, so let's say, rebuild this and, the backgrounds. People that do Mario Maker know that you've got like specific themes. This game did not have themes. It had interchangeable background layers. So you could swap out like, the farthest back layer, I want that to be dots, but I'm gonna say that they're stars, but they could be anything because you could apply animation effects to each layer individually. This is what the Kaizo stuff looked like in this. The background talk, yeah. Okay, so then, oops. So the real problem was, okay, well, let's say we put it on Steam. You still have to deal with the whole SQL backend if you're going to store levels. Or do you? Workshop, Steam Workshop. As silly as that would be, if you could integrate directly with Steam Workshop in-game, you could basically leverage that so that every level is its own unique workshop item. And then you basically get the framework for, well, in Steam Workshop, people can comment on things and bookmark things and all this stuff. No, so the level code system was okay for small levels, but it was just run length encoding of the entire level layout. Oops, hang on, I pressed the wrong button, broke my bot. I was reaching for the, there we go, that you can barely even hear. Anyway, so Workshop could store the level data and the thumbnail. I don't know if you can automatically hook into leaving comments on Workshop items from within the game. Part of me wants to say, well, if Portal 2 could let you do it through the, what was it, the Perpetual Testing Initiative, which I don't actually know if they allowed comments directly that way or not, but yeah. So that's a possibility. But you don't get high scores, right? Yeah, so that's one option. Is just say, if you want to leave a comment, bloop, there you go. I'll just open it up in your system browser. Go nuts. There you go. You can probably tell it to open up the Steam browser. Say, here you go. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. Go nuts. Use their website. I'm not managing this. But leaderboards. This is a major part of Mario Maker is leaderboards, right? Everyone wants to have the fastest time. That's true. I don't want to deal with that. I had some stuff set up for Dabble Worlds, for comments and for moderation. Comments never got implemented because I was like, you know what? I'm leaving room in the database, but for as small as the community is, I don't think it's necessary. But then I was like, well, someone could still like start uploading some really terrible level titles, and I need to be ready for that, I guess. Luckily, that never became a problem. But yeah, I would love it if that was just not my problem. High scores, getting the fastest time on a level. How do you store that? Steam does have leaderboards. And you can through the Steam API, you can request leaderboard data for whatever specific leaderboard and display it in your game. That's easy enough. You just request the data and it spits back a list of Steam IDs and actual scores and all this other stuff, and then you can pass that out to get like avatar PNGs and all this stuff. But, you know, then you'd have to set up a leaderboard for each level. Well, you can automate that. Steam does let you automatically create leaderboards. You have to, I think manually, you have to set if they're going to be visible from within Steam, like just browsing it, but your game can always access it through the API, even if it's not manually set to be visible to everyone. So you could say, all right, every time that there's a level and someone finishes it, if there's not already a leaderboard for that one level, make one. And that's a terrible idea because there is a hard limit on the number of leaderboards. Did I not already add that? I thought I added that. 10,000 leaderboards is the limit. Now, Dabble Worlds did not ever hit 10,000 levels, but I would be willing to gamble that if I actually went through the process of making it a free game on Steam, we might actually pick up some fresh faces and actually see it get to be a little bit more populated of a game. Having leaderboards for every permutation of puzzles. Make it $1 to $3. That's a barrier of entry. Admittedly, people do put more value on something that costs money. As dumb as it is, I get it. I hate that that's a thing that our brains do. But yeah, if you charge money for a game, people are like, well, then it's a good game. And if you don't, the idea is like, well, what's the catch? Must not be very good. That was one idea I had, Lag, is like when the leaderboards start to really pick up, you just start saying, nobody has even tried this level in X amount of time, so just cull it. Yeah. It's like have some kind of buffer of always keep the most recent X number of level leaderboards and always keep the most recently modified leaderboards, most Y recently modified, and so on. Pulled them all live across. Yeah, I have no idea. I haven't really looked a lot at Steam leaderboard API stuff. I used it in Pen Pals, which was the Suika game I made when I was learning Unity. Because I had, we got 20 or 25 different levels on that, and I didn't want to make leaderboards for everyone individually. So I at least learned enough about the leaderboard system where every time a new level is created and someone gets a score on it, it checks to see, hey, if there's not a leaderboard, just create one. And that works decently well. All things considered, that works pretty well. Right, I should actually be working while I monologue, huh? Yeah, this is gonna look a little bit. The bridge does not look good now, just by comparison. Which, I mean, I guess that means that this railing looks pretty nice. If the bridge looks that good. That's fine. Yes, 10,000 leaderboards. Yeah, that's what I saw on the documentation for it. Yeah, you get one entry, so you couldn't track your first time was this, but your best time is that. You can't do that unless you're maintaining multiple leaderboards for a single level, which let's not. Let's just not. What was the other little tidbit? I mean, that's pretty much it. Is that through the API you can create and you can remove leaderboards on the fly as needed. So it could be done. It could be done. There is that gamble of like, well, how popular is the game gonna be? Because if the game is like marginally popular, then it's like, okay, that means I need to include some kind of system that can sort of recycle those 10,000 slots. But if the game is really popular, then suddenly the issue becomes, well, now people are going to get upset that leaderboards are getting sort of forgotten as time goes on. And maybe that's not a problem I want to worry myself with, because that would be a major if. And yeah, I just wouldn't be that upset with that sort of thing. If people want to, manually track leaderboard stuff beyond that, that's on them. But yeah, storing that amount of data is a pain to deal with. Just do it this way. And then transform this out. Yeah, really stretch it. Also consider it does get super popular, you can just worry about it then. That's entirely true. Of course, then I can't offset the cost of dealing with the data by, oh, well, I'll just use some of the money from my super popular game now. Like, well, no, if I started out free, that's out of the question. But again, probably not anything I'm gonna worry about. And again, this is all if I end up remaking this game. Welcome in. Working on a 1,000-Year Door-like video game. Let's move these out a bit more. Oops. And then take these 3, scale up. Perfect. That works. This does need one of these end caps, though. Yeah, right around there. That looks fine. Maybe. The annoying thing is that you do have to suddenly deal with some kind of middle layer between the game and the actual database. Which, that's just more code to write. The really nice thing about the Steam leaderboards is there's nothing. You don't have to worry about writing the queries, which they're not hard to write. Believe me, I've already done it before. At least for full price, and slashed it in half. You know what? That's true, Lag. We add microtransactions for unique asset swaps for your level. There's the idea. asset swaps. Now the scary thing is Godot games, from my understanding, I've not delved into this too deep, but they are fairly easy to break open and poke around at the code, just by the nature of the GD script. This does look a lot better. Gosh. Does look a lot better. All right, check it. There's our before, which is just prototype CSG shapes. And then after, I think that looks pretty good. That's fair. That's fair. Payton has leaderboards. That'd be tricky, because then I'd have to make sure I don't include the leaderboards from the get-go. But yeah, Godot is easy to break into. So one potential idea is, if you have the paid version, then you can include these level elements that are purely decorative. You can include those in your levels. Wow. Microtransactions. Everybody loves that. But if we're just sending information across the wire to the Steam API, then presumably someone figured out, like, aha, I've cracked the way that the levels are encoded. I will hit the API myself from my modified copy of the game. But it's like, who cares that much? Who cares that much? Why am I even giving this a second thought? Yeah, there you go. You can stand on it barely. Someone's gonna get stuck somewhere on this somehow. Ah! We're fine. Okay, yeah, wow. The rope bridge looks awful in comparison now. That's gonna have to be redone. We'll do like a little corkscrew with a little ropey texture, and then just it needs to be kind of anchored at the end with some kind of metal spikes. This is cutting. Yeah, you're cutting into this mesh right here. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. I could fade this out. I do have the code for fading a mesh when you're kind of in front of it. We might do that. But yeah, it's not worth even worrying about. Just make a game you want to make. And then if you... I have long since... I forgot we made a fire here. That looks okay. The particle effect is a little bit scratchy looking, but it's fine. It's good enough. Anyway, look, I have health insurance. I have a decent salary. Even if I make the most amazing game, solo independent development is such a lottery ticket that it is not even worth me considering the possibility of making enough on game development to ever be able to make that a full-time position. Like, I think if I was working on games 40 hours a week, yes, I could complete this faster, but I'm not going to make enough money to offset not just the salary, but, insurance benefits, stability, that sort of thing. And so I should never be making decisions about how my game should be built based on how easy that would be to monetize. I enjoy making games, And I think the main thing I enjoy about making games is that I don't have to make them any specific way. If I were to rely on video game sales as the only way that me and my entire family can eat, I would be making slop. I would be frantically putting out absolute garbage. Whereas treating it specifically as, no, this is a hobby, this is something I do for fun, that allows me to actually make something that I want to make, something that I'm actually happy with, and it's like, no, this is the game I have wanted for there to be. Download assets, make it dark, profit. Can you survive the curse of Mean Banana? You were working in grocery store. Manager tell you, watch out for Banana tonight. Banana's going bads. Was it real? Anyway. Yeah, I'd say 1 in 10,000 is generous even. That's true. It'd be mobile stuff. It'd probably be mobile stuff, and I would hate it. I would hate every minute of it. I would hate making those shiny little microtransaction buttons that sparkle and gleam and try to tug into every little fiber of our lizard brains. Ugh. No, I want to make this bird drop his ladle into the soup when you first meet him. Anyway. Download PNG. Yeah. That's a good point. You make them sparkly enough. So much garbage. I ported Pen Pals. Well, not ported. I made the necessary changes in Unity for Pen Pals to make it mobile viable. I have a copy of Pen Pals on my phone right now, and no one else can play it. Because in the current iteration of the App Store, if you plan on monetizing, you have to set that up with your full, legal home address. Pen Pals Mobile, real. Oop, it faded out because of the reflection. Drop. Okay, anyway. Get rid of that. Yeah, at the time I wanted to get into like, oh, you know what? Everybody's asking for it. Yeah, sure. I'll make a mobile version of it. Put it on the Google Play Store for like $3. And then Google was like, all right, if you plan on monetizing, all right, give us your home address. I was like, okay, but why? It's like, well, because we're going to make that information available if anybody has problems with your app and they need to reach out to a physical location. It's like, no, thank you. Goodbye. And that was that. Anyway, I gotta go to bed. I'm very tired. It's daylight savings time. I'm gonna get good sleep. Oh man. Alright, maybe? Inu is on playing Animal Well. I don't know much about Animal Well, and I don't want... Oh, no, wait, let's go Bonjour Sauce. Bonjour Sauce. Wait, hang on. Let's see if anybody else is doing Mario World. And maybe we should check game dev category. We're gonna set up a raid, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Who's doing Mario World? Because we actually know some people in Mario World community. Sauce. Nope, that's pretty much it. Okay, so that'd be Sauce if we go that route. Do a Patreon. Yeah. I've been getting advertisements for those lags, so apparently my issues are either predicted enough or widespread enough. That's just a thing that people are doing. No, I don't want to meet new people tonight. I don't want to meet new people tonight because I need to go to bed. As terrible as that is, that's really my explanation. I'm not gonna meet new people tonight. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. It's weird. And that's why it's so important for me personally to just remember I'm not making money off of this. I'm not even breaking even on I'm not going to get anywhere near breaking even on the amount of work put into something like this. But that's not how I need to consider it. This isn't something. I'm not making a product to be sold. I'm expressing myself. That sounds really artsy-fartsy, and I hate sounding artsy-fartsy. But, like, I have given this serious thought. And, like, no, this is, like, I'm putting a lot of me into this. Like, I'm exploring ideas. And, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm inadvertently going to be allowing people to like psychoanalyze me by the game I'm making. We'll raid into Bonjour Sauce. He does Mario World ROM hacks. I don't hang out with Sauce a lot. I mostly just run into him occasionally in Dupu's stream. But I won't be hanging out because I gotta go to bed late here. Tomorrow, more fence. I'm gonna work on the fence a little bit, maybe before stream starts, and then I guess we need to redo this to make it actually look decent as a rope bridge. And then I guess we make enemies. Maybe we actually make an enemies. Get in the soup. Get in the soup, Dabble. Cat soup. So yeah, maybe that's the plan. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for all the raids, all the multitudes of PIB parties and the like. Very fun. See you guys next time. Bye.